Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is that you're joining us. It's good to have you here. This is going to be a really great, uplifting conversation with a client of mine, Kirk, who I've been with now for it's going to be coming up for 2 years early next year. The time has flown. But this is going to be a really important conversation to help you get more of an insight into your health and your mind and what you can do to support yourself in recovery and creating the most incredible life for yourselves. So enjoy this conversation. I'm going to now just say hi to Kirk. Hi, Kirk. Thanks for joining us.
Hi Rachel, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. It's really good to have you here. I was wondering if we start with if you can just explain a little bit about yourself, that kind of cringy introduce yourself question.
Yeah.
But if you could just tell us a little bit about you so that the guys can understand who you are, what you enjoy doing, and where you've come from.
Yeah, sure. So it's Kirk Ford. Probably tell by the accent, I'm Welsh in South Wales, Newport. So what do I do? I'm a director in financial services for an insurance brokerage in Oxford. I've been in the industry. It's a very stressful industry, may I add, for about 20 years. But in the last 2 years, I've really got in tune with myself, my mind, my body, and I've become a qualified personal trainer, which we'll touch on a bit later, Rachel, and also qualified EFT practitioner off the back of what the work I've been doing with you. And obviously, I've gone through a very traumatic experience in the last 2 years where I was hospitalized, um, close to death situation with my colitis. They wanted to give me a colonoscopy bag. Organs were showing signs of failure. And yeah, I've overcome that, and I'm on no medication, which is absolutely superb. And today, for me, it's just about getting the message across to people. If I can do it, anyone can do it.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm completely with you. We're both very grateful that both of us currently in very good health, no symptoms, no medication, living full lives, despite having been diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. And so we're going to be covering in this chat a lot of what Kirk's just touched on in more detail. So, like you said, you've gone through it, you've that last couple of years, when we met, it was a very traumatic time for you. Now looking back at this from this point back, what do you believe currently? Because it can always change as you evolve and grow. But what do you currently believe caused colitis to manifest itself in your body?
Do you know what, Rachel? That's a great question, because if you would have asked me this 3, 4 years ago, say 4 years ago when I first got diagnosed, I would have put it down to bad luck. I've got a stomach condition and that's the way it is. But let's just go a bit deeper on this, because as far back as I can remember, I've always been a positive person. So you speak to people who I went to school with, I grew up with, I was always full of good energy, positivity. But I'd say the last sort of 4 to 5 years, I got hit with a few traumas. So close relatives dying, a few things going on in the family, and it hit me massively. I always remember my partner, Kirsty, telling me, your mindset has changed. You used to be such a positive person, you're now negative. It just started bringing out all these symptoms with my stomach, kept going back and forth to the doctors. It just wasn't pleasant. And at the time, I just put it down to bad luck, but it definitely isn't down to bad luck. My experience alone, and I can only talk from my point of view, nobody else's, but it was all to do with this cyberkinetic loop. So I was giving off a negative response in my head, which was also giving a negative response in my stomach. And you flip that on the reverse side. If you put a positive response, which is what I've learned now, you get a positive response to your gut. So this can very much, the negative responses and the negative energy can change your gut microbiome in a massive, huge way, which is exactly what it did to me.
Yeah, that is a really, really important point for any of you listening. Don't ever dismiss the power of your mind to not only do great things, but also be detrimental to your body. In this case, it's gut health, but that could also be all types of different health issues.
Do you know what, though, Rachel? I'm sorry to cut across you there.
Mm,
What is so fascinating, what I've learned is this here, your mind and your gut, they're both brains. They work in conjunction with one another.
yeah,
And if one's firing off wrong, it will send a message vice versa to the other one. So it's
yeah,
very important we get it right. And we get these systems and processes in place, which we'll discuss later.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the gut-brain connection is huge, and it's being recognized more and more in the medical world. And also the gut, the brain and heart connection. So we've almost got like these three centers in our body that carry such a lot of intelligence, but we're not taught it at school. You know, we're not aware of it, so we're not harnessing the power of that. And when we
Mm.
slip into bad habits and stress, then we're actually sending all the wrong signals, which is what you've just been saying. So going back to when things did get severe for you,
Mm-hmm.
if you're comfortable to do so, could you share what happened when those symptoms got to their peak?
Yeah, absolutely. So I remember going to the GP, local GP, and may I say as well, up until this point in 2019, I never had to go to doctors. I was always fit and healthy, but these traumas hit, and I was getting symptoms of real bad stomach, pain in the gut area, in the region, and I was getting sort of blood, diarrhea, etc. All the horrible things you can think of. Um, I went there 5 weeks in a row. I always remember this. So I went every Monday for 5 weeks. I saw a different GP. They put it down to hemorrhoids. Um, so I said, all right, okay. They give me the cream. I went back on week 5 and I saw the head GP. It was just pure luck. And she did an examination. And she just said to me, she said, has anyone in your family ever had bowel cancer or any diseases you can think of? My granddad died of bowel cancer at 52, sadly. So, you know, you start to worry, you start to panic, and you think, oh my God, where's this going? And immediately after telling her about my granddad, they called an ambulance and I got admitted down to A&E. So I had an endoscopy, camera at the backside, camera down the throat. And the results came back that it was ulcerative colitis. But the good news is it's treatable with medication. They kept going on about medication. So this was 2019, loads of bad symptoms. I got it under control then for about 18 months. And then when I had this major trauma hit me, wow, the symptoms just come left field and I was hospitalized and, you know, I was fighting for my life basically. And we can touch on that a bit later. I don't want to keep elaborating if, you know, if it's not the point to elaborate at this point in time, Rachel.
Well, it probably is a good time to talk about that if you're okay to, because I feel that what happened to you next when you were admitted was you turned a disastrous situation into a massive, like, pivoting point in your life. It was very pivotal what happened next. So if you could explain
Yeah.
what did
So
happen.
it was during COVID. Um, I was bedridden for 4 weeks. I could not leave the bed. The only time I'd leave the bed would be go to the toilet, and I was going 20, maybe 30 times a day. It was horrific. Um, and then it come to a point where my partner, Kirsty, said, look, we're getting you down to the hospital. So I got admitted. They did some blood tests and my CRP. And for anybody that don't know what CRP is, it's an inflammation marker in the body. Your normal range is usually between 0 and 5. Mine was in excess of 290. So straight away, it was alarm bells for everybody. My weight had dropped drastically. And I got admitted to a bed, wasn't allowed any visitors. I had the endoscopy within sort of 24 hours, scans, etc. And then I just remember the following morning, I had no energy whatsoever. How they explained it, my iron levels were completely gone, but there's a backup sort of iron. I might get this wrong, but folate comes to mind. And they said even those stores were just running so low, you can't even get out of bed. And that was the reason why. They then got a surgeon to come and see me. I always remember this surgeon said, listen, Kirk, we are very worried that your bowel is going to perforate and we need to do open surgery within the next hour. Oh my God, Rachel, the panic, the thought, tears were flooding. I'm not ashamed to say I was just rock bottom. I thought, what the hell is going on here? Next thing you know, I'm being wheeled down for this operation. I rang my partner, Kirsty, on my phone on the way down on my mobile. She's going absolutely berserk saying, can I speak to the surgeon or can I speak to the doctor? Turn around, go back to your room. You're not in the right mental capacity to make this decision. You just ain't, Kirk. If it's the right decision after thinking it through, then fine. But they wheeled me back around. Kirsty had a chat with him and said, look, he plays a lot of sport. He loves his sport. Is there any way of avoiding this bag? they said, look, his organs are showing signs of failure. He's going to, if it goes on and on, he could be even more weaker. Therefore, we won't be able to do the operation because he's so weak as well. Do you know what, Rachel? That's when the fight began. When I thought, do you know what? I got to start now up here, really fighting back because I'm going to be left with a colonoscopy bag. Organs were showing signs of failure. I was on a heavy dose of steroids as well. So through an IV drip, the heaviest you can be on the daily dose. And I remember they said, look, we're going to put this IV biological drug into you. We start reading all the side effects, blah, blah, blah. One of the side effects is actually cancer. You read on there and you think, wow, okay, wow, whoa, come on. And then I just remember thinking, right, I'm going to Google alternative therapies. And that's when I come across you. And I'm not just saying it because you're on here. It's the best decision or best Google search I ever did because I would never, ever be in this position. So that's when the recovery started. And I always remember I sent your link across to Kirsty, my partner, and she was like, you're at the depths of despair. You've got to give this a go. And I always remember we put it off a few times when I was in hospital. And then you and I did our first session from hospital. And they thought I was mad, the NHS, because I told them, I said, look, I am going to be doing this now. I need you not to come in the next hour and do my bloods or whatever, because I'm doing this alternative therapy. They sort of looked at me, I won't lie to you, as if I was mad. But probably I was at that point in time, because this mental thing of me losing my bowel, organs failing, your mind is all over the place anyway. So that's when it really started. And I think I was that sort of weak on my first session. If you remember, Rachel, I had to get Kirsty on with me because I kept getting teary. I was physically weak, mentally drained, just couldn't even explain myself.
Yeah, I do remember. And we started off really small, didn't we? We started off because you were on your own in the hospital. So you were isolated from your family,
Mm-hmm.
as well as being in a very bad way with your health, with a surgical team, very worried and trying to convince you to have surgery. We started off really small with getting you to start to focus your mind on something that was something good. And that for you was your daughter, wasn't it? And
My daughter
every
Emily.
hour you'd have a timer on your phone that would go off. And when that alarm went off, you knew that you had to put as much of your thought as you could into your daughter and
Mm.
feel the love you have for her.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
and it was amazing because straight away the pain in my belly was starting to go. I know that sounds bizarre, but these little tricks that you were showing me and you were teaching me, they were superb.
yeah. And it's just a case of, all of this is within all of us.
Yeah.
That's the point of this conversation, isn't it? Um, you are an amazing guy, but you are a man. You are not Superman,
Yeah.
although some people might consider that you are with all the stuff you're doing now to help others. But the thing is, if you, like you said, if I can do this, others can do this.
Yeah.
And you fought back. What do you think it was within you when you were at that very lowest point that made you say to postpone that surgery? Because it would have been easier for you, surely, to say, yeah, just do whatever, because you felt so bad. There was
Yeah.
no one else there to support you. What was it within you that just said no?
It was just like I just thought, I do not want this bag. I want the old Kirk back. I really want to be firing on that good energy that I knew for so long. I got into this real bad spiral. It just spiraled out of control. And I just thought, come on, you can do this. And every day, look, I'm not going to lie to you, and I won't lie to the people out there who's going through this. It wasn't easy because you've got to put the systems, the mechanisms, the frameworks in place, and you've got to stick to them religiously. So when my phone was going off, boom, you didn't have the energy. You physically and mentally didn't have the energy to do it. But I pushed and I drove through it. And every week I was getting a little bit stronger, a little bit stronger, and a little bit stronger. And they told me I'd be on this biologics drug for my whole life. That's how they worded it. The chances are, because of the severity of your case, you'd be on this for life. But you know what, Rachel? One thing I am grateful for is that biological drug did get my inflammation down. So after 2 acute doses, after 8 weeks, they saw all my markers come down. They said I was ready to go home. And I always remember they said you have to come back in 4 weeks as an outpatient. I remember being wheeled out of there. I was in tears because I'd been locked up for 8 weeks. I was institutionalized. I'd had no sunlight. I really wanted to get back to my bed because I knew no different. I remember getting in the car, Kirsty saying, "Come on, you got this. You're going in the right direction." After 2 weeks of being home, I said to Kirsty, Kirsty, I'm not going back for this biological drug. She was going mad with me because she said, "You can't put yourself back through this, Kirk, but also you can't put me and Amelie through it." And I knew where she was going with it, but I said, "Look, you have to trust me on this one. I'm working with Rachel diligently. I'm doing what Rachel's advising me in the background and I'm sticking to it. I'm doing other bits and bobs as well around this, fasting and cold water therapy kicked in, and I'll talk about that a bit later."
Yeah.
But Rachel, it was a blessing in disguise, me getting ill. And do you know what? Not going back for that IV drip is the best thing. And I'm not, this isn't medical advice.
Yeah, this is for you. Yeah, from
This is
your
just personal,
experience.
from my experience. Best thing I ever did. Best thing by a long, long stretch.
That's what I find really interesting, and this might resonate with some of the guys that will listen to this. Is that even at the depths of despair, there is still that fire burning within us
Yeah.
that can it's your intuition. You at that point you manage to just focus on your intuition and listen to what your body wanted and what was going to be the best for you.
Yeah.
And I think we need to say, it doesn't matter what decisions people make, as long as you are making the right decision for yourself and you don't feel like you are being pressured into doing it against your will, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because there are many people living their lives with all types of IBD, and they've gone through all sorts of processes to regain their health, whether it is surgery or not. But it's the important thing is that you can look back at whatever you decide to do and know that you did what you wanted to do.
Yeah, absolutely. What other things have I learned? And just, things are just coming in, and I might as well just say them as they come through. And just the people around you and the ones that really matter are the ones that really pull through as well. When you're at those depths of despair, you think you've got friends and you think you've got these amazing friends. The amazing ones that come through, they do, but the ones that you thought will come through, some of them didn't. And I give an example as well. I remember, because this journey wasn't linear by any stretch of an imagination. Going back to work, getting back into the rhythm of things, it was hard because you had bad anxiety that you had to overcome, not just all the colitis symptoms. It was huge. But when you are at your lowest and people see you at your lowest, one thing I can categorically say is one person in particular kicked me right down when I was down even further. They tried taking you because you're at your lowest point. But I can use all this now, Rachel, as a positive. And, every day I'm thankful, I'm grateful. In fact, I'm so glad it happened to me.
Yeah. And it's these lessons that are very important. And it's your mindset that you can turn it into a positive, you can give it a positive outlook, and you can see the other side of it that is the best medicine for you.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that you're able to do that, because anger and frustration and resentment and not being able to forgive are sure ways to cause gut inflammation. I
Absolutely.
see it so much. Well, I saw it myself, and I see it in clients, and this is the stuff we have to work through in order to help your body to regain its health.
Yeah.
So, what is your health like today?
Superb. So, I can eat what I want. I go out every day. I'm doing personal training sessions, which keeps me going. I feel great. I'm 40 years of age now, and I'm probably in the best physical shape of my life, which you never, if you would have asked me that 2 years ago, Kirk, 2 years from now, if you can picture yourself being in the best physical and mental shape of your life, I would say no chance, absolutely no chance. But now, look, Rachel, you taught me this. It's not linear. This recovery thing isn't linear. And I always remember you saying things are going to get thrown your way, and it's how you deal with it which matters. So I come home from work, something major might be happening in the household. It's just how you receive that, how you deal with it, which is important, because if you ponder too much on it, that response to you is going straight to your gut.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's where the message goes for me personally, goes straight into my gut, which is no
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I'm completely with you on that from my own experience as well. And I think a lot of people with IBD, they are going to feel the same, because that is where, for whatever reason, that is where we suppress stuff, we process stuff or can't process stuff,
Yeah.
and we hold it all in our gut.
Mm.
So, what have you learned from this experience?
I've just learned so much, you know, life is precious. Life is so precious, and it's here to be lived. You know, enjoy it. One life, live it. That is my motto. It was always my motto, but I got caught up in a lot of hype and a lot of negative things. But it's taught me to live your life, enjoy your life. We're here for a short time. Um, I'm doing the personal training, which intrinsically makes me flow better. I absolutely love it. One thing I've done as well, Rachel, even though I work at director level in a very busy industry, I've gone to a 3.5 day week. So I manifested this. So when the journey began, I was at my company for about 9 years previously. I started with this new company at director level. I said, listen, guys, I want to come on board, but here's my terms. You know, it's not all about my terms. It's got to work for both parties, but I want a Monday and a Friday afternoon off. I want to do my personal training. And do you know what, Rachel? They get more out of me because now I've got that balance. I feel good going to work because I've done what I really enjoy, and now I'm back into the mix of the corporate world, and it's
Yeah.
really working at the moment, which is superb.
And it's been really great to watch this transition while we've been working together, because I think, if it's fair to say, what you've experienced has made you prioritize yourself more.
Mm-hmm.
It's made you put a lot more of life in perspective in terms of materialistic stuff,
Mm-hmm.
what you're here for. It's helped you find your real, like, soul purpose,
Yeah,
which you're moving towards now. And I think it has made you even more um focused on what you want,
yeah.
and you're not so willing to people please
No,
or keep the peace necessarily. You just say what you want and it happens.
absolutely. And I think that's key to anybody in life. I think you've got to first of all just work out what your values are. I think is key here, because you can root everything back to how you're grounded and what your values are and what they mean to you. And when I was going through that whole healing journey, I remember just sitting down and thinking, what are Kirk Ford's values? What do they mean? And how do I sort of go about this day to day? And I stick by those values every day.
And that is authentically who you are. So then you're getting back in alignment with yourself. So inflammation, sickness, it comes from us being out of balance in some way. And so on an energetic or vibrational level, when you are working with your values each day, that you are showing up authentically as you. So you are,
Absolutely.
so it, yeah, and it's a lot harder for external factors to then impact you, because you are empowered and grounded and strong in what you
Yeah.
believe. So, but people listening to this and watching this, can you please share the tools that you are using today to continue to maintain this great health that you've got, and also explain how they are improving all aspects of your life?
Yeah, these are game changers, Rachel, for me. And do you know what? Other people as well that's come into my sort of remit, and I've talked about them, they've gone off and done them, and it's just superb. Number one, emotional freedom tapping. So every evening before bed, you know, I will go in the bath, have a hot bath, I do my tapping, I do my little system I've got in place, and that helps. When I was on the journey to recovery, I was doing it 3-4 times a day religiously because I felt I needed it. Now, once a day without fail is the optimum for me. I also do cold water therapy. So, you know, I get random people coming up to me in the street in South Wales, Newport. Oh, you're that guy that goes in the cold water. I absolutely love this. This, for me, has to be done every day. So you just feel so good with your gut. It reduces inflammation. So a cold is known to reduce inflammation. But not only that, if you're having a stressful day, so if I've been back to back on conference calls, Zoom calls, whatever it may be, as soon as I get in that cold water, it's like it releases all that bad tension and all that bad energy. It's so good. It's really good. We've even formed something called a group called the Chicken Dippers. So there's about 20 of us in this WhatsApp group. And so my regime is I wake up 6 a.m, I go in the pod in the garden. And then in the evening and weekends, the group meet at Cwmcarn Forest Drive. And it's fresh water off the mountain. So it's, even in the summer, it's absolutely Baltic. But the mental the mental side of it as well is just so good. So it's not just physical, it's mental. You get out of there and the guys within 10 minutes, we're just so buzzy. It's really good. The energy you're giving off. Sometimes Kirsty will say, don't do it too late, Kirk, because I come home dancing and stuff. It gives off a massive endorphin boost, which is really good. And then I'd say lastly, intermittent fasting. So, I think it's very important with what I've been through to rest your gut on a daily basis, because if those organs are constantly working and chugging away and you're spiking your insulin, I don't think it's good for my system in particular. So I try to do 16 hours minimum of intermittent fasting every day. And, it was hard at first, but now I do it every day as part of what I do. Kirsty and Emily, bless them, they work around this as well. So if we have an evening meal, they say, when are you eating? What sort of time about is going to be the last time you're eating this evening, and we work around it. And that's been an absolute game changer. So all three of them, EFT tapping, cold water therapy, and intermittent fasting, all three of them are so powerful. And I couldn't put my finger on which one is the most powerful. I think they all work hand in hand.
Yeah. And that's, I talk about this a lot with clients, that it's over time, they're going to find their own recipe for success, and it's going to look different to the next person because we're all individual. And those three techniques that you're using are very powerful. I mean, there's a talk in each of those on their own. But what I want people to maybe take from this is how simple, once you've been dedicated enough to get this in your routine, how simple they are.
Yeah.
We're not doing lab tests. We're not doing constant stool tests. We're not dealing with complicated supplementation. We're not dealing with lots of GP appointments and risky medications. You're not pouring money. It's not a money pit. You are doing 3 solid self-care methods.
Yeah, and do you know what? They can all be done alone. They're all natural. There's nothing that you put into your body that's a chemical. It's superb.
You are optimizing the pharmacy within your own brain and your own body with each of these techniques, which is what I just think is priceless for people to see, because there's a lot of fear out there and confusion and conflicting information and expense.
Yeah.
And I've been there, I've done a lot of this stuff, and I'm not saying any of it is not right, but I'm just saying for people that may be out there saying this is too complicated, it's too expensive, listen to Kirk and what he is doing, because anyone could start doing this today on their own, for themselves, for free.
Do you know what, Rachel, as well? Like, looking back as well, oh my God, I was greedy. So bloody greedy. I used to eat and eat and eat. I've trained all my life, but my diet, I always thought because I train, I can eat and eat and eat and eat. It's so good. It's so much better now. I regulate that. I feel stronger within. I feel healthier. I feel everything. The benefits are just so good. And I just wish I knew better earlier in life. But you learn through experience, I suppose.
Yeah, and everything, the way I always see it is everything is divine right timing. You were ready to do this now, and for whatever reason it wasn't going to be any sooner, but you are doing it now, and you're also sharing this with others, that's so magical. So how do you value life even more now?
I just, I've sent you messages, I think, in the past, Rachel, where I'm just so grounded and feel so good. But you don't have to go and have 10 pints with your mates to feel good. It's all in front of us. Nature, going in the sea for a cold dip. All of this is just superb. And the people you meet, they're just on the same level of you. It's amazing. And, personal training, the energy that I have with my clients and is reverse. It feels so good because you're seeing people on their journey and you're helping them on that journey. Honest, I just wish in a way this happened a bit sooner because I had that 5 years of battling, and had it not come to the, hit a head on where I was really, really poorly, I think I wouldn't have gone through the 5 years I'd gone through, which was hell. And I put my partner through hell, and I put Amelie, my daughter, had to see all this. But, it's a journey, and we live, we learn, and we pass our knowledge on to others. And that's what I want to do.
Yeah. So what is next for you?
So I've just got certified in EFT practitioner tapping, qualified personal trainer. I'm going to do my life coaching badge and deep breathing. I've enrolled for both of them. So, I want to sort of morph my personal training into more of a life coaching brand, because with what I've been through, the story I have, which is real, nothing's made up here. I've been there, I've done it, and I can relate to these people with gut issues. I want to target people with gut issues because I'm a living example of being through sort of the depths of despair where the NHS is saying, we've got to rip your bowel out. It's like a conveyor belt. Let's get that bowel out. Within 3 days, you'll be home. We don't want to keep you here for 8 weeks, Kirk. And that's why I stayed there, because I went to the plan B that I wanted. And I think it's just shaping my future to make me feel intrinsically good.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm really excited for what's coming next for you. And I would say this a lot to you, but the people that are yet to come into your life that you're going to support with your packages are going to, I mean, it's just this ripple effect. I just love the ripple effect that you came across me and we've been working together.
Yeah.
You're now going to start helping others. They're going to start feeling amazing, and then they'll probably start helping others. And this is just how it goes on.
Yeah.
So it's very exciting. And I know this is just the start for you. And you'll probably look back at this interview in a few years and be like, wow, this is big for you now. And then in a few years, I think you'll be doing even more stuff.
Oh, thanks.
Um, and it's just really, really exciting. So if any of the guys watching want to keep an eye on you and what's happening next and get in touch, what's the best way for them to do that, Kirk?
So I've just created, I'm just going to get it up, Rachel, just 2 seconds. I've got a new Instagram business page that I've created.
Brilliant. What I
Just,
can do is, for all
yeah,
you guys out there, I will put all the details in the description so that
yeah.
you can find Kirk.
So I've just changed the name, and it is, oh, sorry, Rachel, it's not coming up, but
No, it's fine.
if you do a search on Kirk Ford, it's quite a rare name anyway. You'll
Yeah,
be able to find it, but we'll put it up on here
we'll
afterwards.
put it up so that
Yeah.
it will make it as easy as possible for people, because I think it'd be great for them to keep an eye on you, because you've not touched on this yet, but some of the stuff you do in the background with through your PT work and who you're working with and the films that you're on
Hmm.
as a personal trainer is pretty cool as well. So that's also like another kind of spangly Hollywood side that you haven't really touched on. So guys, find Kirk from the information I've put here from this talk. Keep an eye on him. Um, you're always welcome to get in touch with me. We've both gone through this stuff. We know what it is like firsthand. Um, you are not alone, and there is always, always possibility for full recovery.
Absolutely.
I refuse to believe otherwise,
And do you
no
know
matter
what?
what the situation is.
I'll come off the back of that really quickly, Rachel. I, so if anybody's going through this, I can categorically, hand on heart, say, get in touch with Rachel, because if I never found EFT therapy, I've never found Rachel, I think I'd still be in the rut, and I probably have a bag today. So, guys, the alternative therapies are out there. The people are out there that's been there and they want to support you. So do get in touch with Rachel would be my message as well, Rachel. I'm not just saying that because you're on here with me, but it's the absolute truth.
Thank you, Kirk. That's really kind. This has been a really great chat, and maybe we'll do another one in the future. Who knows? But for you guys out there, I hope this has given you ideas.
Mm-hmm.
You can start going off and searching for this stuff. You can always ask us questions. Bringing in more stuff that you can help yourselves with on your own. It doesn't need to be complicated.
Mm.
And I really hope that you've kind of a bit of Kirk's positive energy has rubbed off on you in this conversation, because that in itself is a great medicine. There's loads of people out there with IBD, and a lot of them are living really great, healthy, happy lives. And we're two of them. Thank you for joining us. Thank you very much, Kirk, for sharing everything that you've gone through and how you're doing today. It's a
Thanks,
complete
Rachel.
joy to see it.
Yeah, no, thank you. Really quickly, one last thing. I've just found my Instagram page. So just tell the
Yes.
guys what it is.
Yeah.
So it's box_coaching_PT_forward, but we'll put it up on the page.
Yeah, I'll put it in. We'll look forward to seeing what's coming for you next. Thanks again, Kirk.
Cheers, Rachel.
Bye bye.
Bye.